Yo, yo, yo. What is up, guys? We are back. It has been a while. How's everyone doing? We have Beat Radley here first, always. My man. GW's here as well. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, apologies for not being able to stream that much this week. We had a members only session on Monday, and then my computer literally broke down. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, just like I had to get it fixed. Or was it? Yeah, it was Monday, I think. Computer completely froze. Went to the local boss man. He had to kind of take it in for a couple of days, and after that, was able to get it back after work today. So we're back on the stream. But yeah, it's been a hectic couple of days. And also, I couldn't have picked it up on Wednesday after work because I had some like work event stuff, so it made it a little bit more challenging. But it's alright. At least we're back today. Way to end the week, right? End the week with the first stream of the week. That's how we do it. My day today was okay. I think this is the first day I'm working from home, so it's been a while. It has been a while. Excited to have you all here, obviously. How's everybody been? Hopefully everybody's been alright. Well, it's been literally a week, right? I haven't been on Don's stream. I haven't been like doing basically any like of my own trading. So yeah, I haven't really seen what price has been up to, and it looks like we're at all-time highs, right? So yeah, I'll have a look. Holy Jesus. Yeah, we will see. We will see. A lot of stuff is happening on the all-time highs. Jesus. Close your eyes and buy gold. Yeah, look at. I mean, you do have some structure going up though. It's not just one clean push, right? I mean, this push isn't as clean as I thought it would be. Like up to here and then coming back down. Ooh, Jesus, that is loud, brother. Yeah, but I thought it would be like, you know, slightly cleaner pushes, but you obviously have some resistance here, right? Here to here, I guess there was some pretty clean range. Some better range potentially above this, but you know, we'll see. Above 2165. What is all-time high? All-time high is 2165. Okay. Interesting though. That is very, very interesting. Haven't done one of these breakdowns in a while, as in like all-time high breakdowns, but yeah, the set and forget, buy and die. Purchase and well, that's a hard one. Somebody in chat will get it. Yeah, we're gonna start at about once we hit 10 people, probably by like 5 past or something. What rhymes with purchase? Let's have a look. Purchase. Oh, purchase and resurface. It's not too bad. Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, purchase and never surface. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Yeah. Could do. It's a bit long though. Hopefully everybody is doing well. It has been a while. Hopefully I still remember how to do breakdowns. But yeah, like, store up some questions. Hopefully we get some all-time high questions. Obviously, nobody really has like a lot of experience trading all-time highs, I would say. But you have pretty clear direction, right? So it's just about what is happening in the most local area that you can see, right? And then doing an analysis based off of that, right? And then you also have to still incorporate other factors like news. You have to incorporate factors like liquidity and everything like that, right? But essentially, that's what we're looking to do. So yeah, all-time highs is just a little more difficult because we don't have a lot of structured data that we can use. But we'll get to that. So I'm going to open a second window, which we'll use later on, right? But let's just go to your basic breakdown, all right? So it's looking like for this month, we're very likely not going to come down. I'm not going to lie, right? Previously, I would say when we retested those all-time high areas, we were around these areas, right? 2150. Oh, hey, Eddie, what's up? Around this area, but then we had a massive rejection to come down, right? I think within like an hour or something, we were starting to pump down, and then we started closing. So I think we just kind of pumped up, and then we started coming down to create the monthly bottom wick. So cool, right? This was massive liquidity for us to drive down. And now that we've come back up, right, and broken this high, what you can expect is probably a higher high, right? So, I mean, after that, it's just the only question you have is where is the next higher high? Because based off of all of this data, we can probably accurately tell you, like, I'd say to like a 90%, maybe not 90%, like 80% certainty, right? Where price is likely to tap, right? In this case, I have no clue. So the only way I can continue getting buys is following structure and following, the market structure that we live and breathe every single day, right? But also looking for liquidity and looking for areas where volume needs to be, will need to kind of kick in. So with news, with, potentially price getting a breakout, things that, will bring volume into the market, but also then continue the market structure that we're looking for. So we can't just blindly take buys, continue going up, obviously. But price is essentially a lot clearer in terms of direction. So I would say you're probably looking at an aggro days, right? But I don't know in terms of aggro week probably, because you've got to break out the week. Aggro month, not necessarily, right? Because we've been pretty aggro at the moment, but doesn't mean we're going to be aggro for the rest of the month. It's going to be quite difficult because, again, at any given point, you don't have a closure above the range, right? If you don't have a closure, any given point, it could flip back down and close, bearish. And what I mean by that is, let's bring up some annotation tools, favorite tools. Any given point, you can have a candle that literally looks like this, with a massive top wick and just closing back into the range. This is not impossible, right? You have to understand that. So because your previous monthly closed respecting this range overall, right, there is a chance of that. But the thing is, right, you did close bullish, number one, and number two, you did break the previous monthly lows. So high chance momentum was, continuing upwards. Just so happens that the momentum is taking you above this kind of 2070 area, which we mentioned would most definitely get tapped, right? And now you're just breaking through. So you're breaking through ranges. That's fine. Like we've been stuck in this area for weeks, right? So after we finally get that breakout, it was a very simple buy once you get a breakout, right? But we were looking for some liquidity for the monthly bottom wick, for the weekly bottom wick. Difficult, right? Difficult to get. Obviously, we haven't gotten it, and it's going to be very difficult if we do get it now, because we probably would be looking for sales along the way down. But if in any world, right, price comes back down, creates a bottom wick for this candle, creates a monthly bottom wick, and then starts reflipping bullish, you can pretty much guarantee that you can hold buys to at least I would say like 2200s, right? Like up to this area. So there's pretty clear direction at the moment, right? If price does flip down, it's going to take a while before it can make its way all the way down as well. So we can probably take some trades along the way. But for the rest of this week, which was just one day really for Friday, it's gonna be interesting, right? Because you're hoping for a weekly top wick. You're understanding that prices at all-time highs. Anytime it breaks the current highs or lows, high chance it could just drive, right? Because you don't know where it's gonna go. But what I will say, right, based off the weekly, if we don't have a top wick, again, it's gonna make it just that little bit more difficult to trade next week's candle, right? Because no top wick equaled potentially a 50-50 going up or going down, right? So we need to have that top wick, right? Where it creates a top wick, I don't know. It could push up to 2200s by tomorrow and then create a top wick and then leave like, like a 200 pip top wick or whatever it is, right? But as long as there is some form of top wick, that's what's, most crucial. So just looking at the structure for the daily, right? Obviously, there's not too much structure. It's just some 5, 6, 7 bullish candles along the way, right? That's fine, right? But you can see some structure along the way, like you can see here, right? So if I have one line here, I can see that, okay, so previously when we closed above here, cool, we tapped the top of the range, which is here, tapped, cool. Then we got, some sort of retracement. We didn't get a closure below, right? Obviously, we started re-breaking the highs. Re-breaking the highs, you have some pretty clean traffic up to here. Just based on the daily, you can't see it, right? But we have now filled up to this range. I would say if this is your range, you had a daily closure respecting the range, right? That's the only thing I can really say in terms of the daily structure for the market, right? Any given point, this daily closure could have not enough liquidity for you to continue going up, right? But you also do have a closure above. So you're a little bit, you're a little bit conflicted now. You're like, oh, okay, if this is the range, we've got to break out of the range, but we're understanding that this may not be enough liquidity for us to continue, then what's going to take over? Are we going to need liquidity, or are we just going to continue re-breaking the highs and we can just blindly take buys, right? So I'd say both scenarios are correct, because if liquidity plays out, right, then we'll probably see it in the markets and we can take advantage of it as we then start to retest those highs. After grabbing liquidity, potentially breaking the previous daily, breaking, the 2 or 3 dailies, right? And then reflipping, taking those breakouts above on maybe the 4-hour or the hourly to continue going up, right? Another version of it, the second thing which was right, is blindly taking buys, right? You have got a closure above, right? So in the case that you don't really start coming down, you have news. News potentially would give you a bottom wick for you to reflip. And once you do, potentially going up to retest, highs or whatever and re-break those highs. That could also be the case where we're just looking for those buys. And, depending on what range we're in, right, that will also determine how much liquidity we're looking to grab. So just based off of the daily, that's really all I can tell you, right? Because there's no other data there. All I can say is that we had a previous rejection at around 2150. We're currently breaking above. Cool. Let's look at the 4. 4 is going to be interesting, and this is where I'm going to start pulling in this bad boy. So this is basically just the second chart, right? But the thing is, with this chart, what I can do is I can look at this. I can now do replay here. And then if I go to the 4, I can see kind of what's happening on the 4 with that. So for those who don't really know how to do that, just simple trick, just replay, and then you can see the price action that kind of happened in the past if it's a little bit too far back. But okay, so 4-hour levels, right? I'm gonna chuck a level. Well, we have a level at 2088, right, which is here. Exactly where we had that is exactly where this is, right? You see the 2 lines here, left and right, same line. So 2088 is a very strong level on the 4. Which means, right, once we broke above on the 4-hour candle, you had really clean traffic to continue going up. And you did. You got a breakout above. You had some really clean pushes up to here for about nearly 300 pips, right? So in that case, cool. We can't really use the 4-hour to determine exactly what this is. But what we can say is now we are above that 4-hour candle, right? So all of these kind of wick areas, right? But your wick area here is also coincidentally, right, a level of support and resistance. So you've seen here that price kind of struggled previously, broke through, we've re-tapped this area, and now we're looking to break above again. All right, so overall your structure obviously is bullish, right? But you are forming structure, right? Highs and lows, re-breaking the highs, higher lows, higher highs. So there is structure there, which means that taking your positions is not impossible, right? Because you're seeing this and you're looking at, okay, this break of all these lows could be liquidity for you to continue going up. But off the 4 hour, again, there's probably not as much information as we'd like to see. So let's jump to the hourly. Hourly is also very interesting, right? So where we had that line previously, where was it? So if we go back to the 4 hour here, right? This line previously, this line here was 2120, right? Just above this area here, right? On the 4. So there's some resistance here, some support here, some resistance here, right? If we jump down to the hourly, here, so happens to be a resistance area as well on the hourly. So where is this resistance area? It is around here. So let's put a line there. Well, it's not too important because we're way above anyways, right? But overall, we have kind of some support, some resistance around these areas. Get a breakout, continue going up. Seems to be the trend, right? We're not really grabbing liquidity in any of these areas here, I wouldn't say, right? Any here, wouldn't be grabbing any here. Didn't really grab anything here, but we did here, right? So we broke some lows, started pushing up, retesting this high here. So this would have been pretty nice, I would say. This potential trade here for that's a 40 pip range, not too bad. But you know, there is structure, so it's doable. It's doable. But on the hourly, again, there's not too much going on. So I'm just going to start dropping down until I see something I can probably start using in the analysis, guys. So your 15 is also not very useful because we're above that now, right? Okay, here, we're starting to get into something. So it seems like, right, the last resistance you had is kind of here. So there's now, essentially, there is no data available, right? There's absolutely no data available because we're above 2150, right? Into these ranges, into 2165, right? So I don't know where price needs to tap into before we can continue going up. And it's looking like with previous structure here, you just get pushes, right? So cool. I can now ignore this because it's less important for me now. Unless we start breaking back into this range, then I can be looking for potential sells, maybe, right, below 2139, 2140. After you break below, what I'll need to see at least is probably some highs, right? And then coming back here, and then you retest here, and then you probably grab some more liquidity before doing that. And that's what I'm probably going to need. It's going to need a lot of confirmation for me to take a sell, even if it's a Friday and we're expecting a bottom wick. Expecting a top wick for the weekly. But, okay, so let's do the analysis just for this. So I'm not going to go to the daily candle because it's just one candle, right? There's nothing there. In terms of your 4 hour, it's pretty good, right? Because your 4 hour had a previous 4 hour candle came down all the way to 2148, right? And around here, you rejected hard, right? What was this rejection? This rejection was a total of 102 pips, basically, right? If that is 102 pips, what is the residual momentum? You have to ask yourself, right? The residual momentum is for you to continue going up. So you probably pushed up, right? This was a 30 pip move, and probably because it was late session, right? This is 6 p.m. for me in London. So it's probably quite late for the markets to continue moving. On top of that, right, I would say your overall structure is clearly bullish. You had a breakout back in this range, but you faked out to continue back up. So potentially, right, there were some positions for you to retest this high here from here. So after your hourly closed here as well, potential positions, right, on the flip here to do the wick fill. Wick fill was around a 20 odd pip range, which was, I would say, pretty tradable as well within this range because you did break some lows, right? You came up and this candle kind of hovered around this area. You continued to close bearish, but then your next candle broke all the lows, then started re-breaking the highs, right? So higher chance that you're going to continue going back up. So I would say this fake out was quite nice. The issue is now, right, you've formed some level of resistance here, and I would say you also have some sort of support here, right? And if this is your support and resistance on your hourly, you're going to need a breakout, right? So the issue now becomes your hourly has no top wick, right? You have no top wick. You're still closing, respecting this range. Any given point, you can come back down. So remember what I said. I am not taking any sells until you potentially break below 2140 areas. I think it is like how far down is like all the way down to here. I can't really like if you want to get sells down here, maybe right. I'll need some pretty break of like these highs up here, and then if it comes back down, maybe this range is now tradable. But we'll see. We'll see if that happens, right? But if in the case that price now closes, well, has right with no top wick, no buys yet, so we're not hunting at the moment. We're just waiting, waiting for price potentially to print us a bottom wick and then a top wick, and then once it flips, we'll look for the daily to have the top wick and potentially fill some of these ranges up to here, 2161, and maybe eventually up at 2164. But that's not too big of a range actually. I mean, like this to this is it's only a 40 pip range. So let's drop down. Let's see, it's pretty clean, I would say, on this time frame. So you have some range to fill, and there's a very high chance that you're going to fill this range, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. We're not going to be able to capture this range. I can guarantee you that, right? Because the 4 hour no top wick, right? Your daily needs a bottom wick, but high chance it's going to come up first, right? And overall you're bullish. So all three things lead to the price coming up to 2161 first, but understanding, right? 4 hour no top wick close hourly no top wick closure, respecting the resistance. Any given point you can start flipping back down, right? So therefore I can't take any trades just based off this current structure on the 15. 50 is looking clean though. No, I'm not gonna lie, right? But nothing we can do, right? We're understanding that every time you break into this range, you tap, right? You tap here, you tap here. This time you kind of didn't even, you closed above, but you immediately filled, right? So in this case, you do have range up to here, but you also have to measure the range, right? From here to here, it's only 10 pips or like 14 pips. So it's not that big. What I would wait for now, right, is potentially price to print me something that looks like this, right? Potentially like a fill of the range, right? And then potentially start coming down, do something like this. Coming down, right? If you can do this, this would be incredible. Where you get a break of all of some of these lows down here, that would be great. Like some of these here, right? And then if we can close back into this range with like a steep bottom wick, right? Get closures back above, then yeah, cool. We can look for not off the rip, I would say, because you are like, I would say only really off the rips once you kind of break this area with liquidity. But, you know, potentially as you're creating a bottom wick, we can look for the flips or like the break of these highs to continue going up. But I don't know how steep these wicks are going to be, because this to this is only 30 pips. It's not that big. So maybe like, yeah, maybe all quite far down, like maybe down to like around these areas here. So at least like a 20 pip something, 20 odd pips in terms of bottom wick. But that's the only way I can really continue getting buys at this rate, right? Because we're understanding that you're just kind of trickling up at the moment. Any given point with your hourly closure, you can flip to come down. If your weekly needs a bottom wick, or sorry, needs a top wick, you're going to potentially come down a little bit as well, right? So it is a Friday, right? There's, you know, if you want to continue pushing for next week, ideally you have a top wick, and most candles leave a top wick and a bottom wick. So the chance of you retracing a little bit today is high, but that doesn't mean that you can't push up first and then retrace a little bit. So I would say in terms of what I'm looking for, this is probably it. I'm not looking for sells until you break this high and then potentially close below 2149. And in that case, maybe, right? Or maybe I can look for this range below, I would say here, 2152, potentially down to these areas is not too bad as like a wick fill area as well. Because every time you close below here, you come down, right? In this case, you've come down to this area, which will probably be our break even, right? Because this is the next kind of area of support, which is 15, right? So that's not too bad. But I'm going to need to see this break the highs. And the issue is, right, if it breaks the highs, I don't know where it's going to go. Is it going to move 100 pips, 1,000 pips, right? Or is it going to go like come straight back down and start reversing? No idea, right? But I can look to take my positions as you get a breakout above the most recent or the all-time high resistance on the 15 candle, right? That's that's probably what I would look for. Let's see what that looks like on the 5, because these other candles are not 30 is okay. Yeah, a breakout above 30, 2161. 1530 is pretty good. Hourly is also not bad because it's just top of this range, right? You can probably look to go break even once you like tap into like this area or like one of these wicks here. That's 7. Yeah, I mean, you'd probably just hold. So if you want to hold it, right, and you want to go break even as you break this high, make sure you have liquidity, right? Because you don't want to be in the trade and then asking yourself, do we have liquidity? Because if you're asking yourself that and then it starts coming down, you're like, this could be liquidity. And then you're just like, okay, so how long is this liquidity going to last? And blah, 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 right? So wait till you get a breakout plus liquidity, and then you can very safely go break even potentially once you tap into this area, and then just leave the rest, right? After you potentially close half or whatever you want to do, right? But there's a high chance of runners if you have liquidity and a breakout and a retest of those highs. So that's the key to success for tomorrow potentially. But yeah, I'd say your 1530 is looking really clean. Hourly is looking pretty clean as well. Your 5 is not bad. I mean, like there's a level around here, right? Yeah, like once you get a breakout, like I mean, there's another level around here as well. Around 2160. It's just there's not enough range between here and here. Like here and here, there's only 8 pips. So there's definitely no range there for me. Yeah, but this is a strong resistance. Look at all these wicks, right? Look at this. And look at all this. All of these rejections. These are massive rejections. So definitely a strong area. So if you can get a closure above 5, 15, 30, I would like to see a 15 at least, right? Because any given point, your 5 could break above, fake back down, right? And then that could be the start of the liquidity grab. Similar with like a 15 closure that looks like this, right? Break above, right? Oh no, we didn't grab liquidity. Look at this. Didn't grab liquidity here, right? Got a closure above. Didn't push, right? Came down, grabbed the liquidity. I think we were in this trade, right? Like survived the liquidity, started coming back up, and cool. You could potentially look for some positions, but because it was quite late, didn't get the full push. But yeah, that's probably what I would say. 1530 is probably your relatively cleaner time frames. Your cleaner lower time frames, right? But everything currently is not looking too bad. Your daily obviously doesn't have too much structure that you can play with, so that's an issue. But yeah, I think you should be okay. Just get rid of this. Okay. Cool. Let's see what the boys have to say. I haven't spoken to them in a couple days. SCFX. Yo. What's up, Jacob? Yo. Hey, Tom's here as well. Yannick, how are you doing? Johnny's here too. Wow. Full house. Well, full as in like the usual squad.
Main crew.
Yeah. This is it. The Fantastic Four.
I like that name.
This is interesting. I'm quite liking all-time highs just based off the structure that's printing. Like I thought all-time highs would just be like irregular pushes to like just whatever, right? But it's been okay. There's range and there's yeah. I think it's largely due to this. I think a lot of the times when something like this happens, the kind of psychology behind it, right? When people think, okay, next time it breaks all the highs, oh, it's gonna push, right? So people are potentially like, setting buy stops here, just like, okay, yeah, it's gonna break, we're gonna push, and then, right, it doesn't really push, and that's when like potentially, the market's kind of trying to screw you over, so you can like it can make more money, banks or whatever institutions, whatever it is, right? Kind of feeding off of that overall sheep mentality, I think. But yeah, this structure is not too bad.
This was like the thing is I keep thinking like if there's a 5-minute candle, like if the daily was like the 5-minute chart, you just be thinking there's no liquidity at all. Like
yeah, exactly.
Any break belows.
Yeah. But the thing is at any given point, just the monthly candle, any given point, this could flip. It's so bad to say that, but yes, it can. Like, Like we never thought this candle would flip, right? And this was like an 800 pip candle or wick.
Mm.
And then it flipped and then it came down, right? Like it started from here, so it was about 1,000 pips. It was 1,100 pips. And it flipped. So yeah, any given point, this can flip as well.
Yeah, and that one had like barely any resistance to left. Like it had a few wicks.
Yeah, I think this had
Closures.
liquidity
One
as well.
right now, like it closed respecting an
Yeah,
actual like heavy monthly candle closure resistance.
yeah. Like look at this candle, right? Look at this structure after a range, fake out, closure above, breakout, next candle, boom, right? Makes sense. This no liquidity pushing up. Is this now liquidity for us to drive down? Like, I mean, if it does flip, yeah, we can look to take some pretty nice sells. Like, I would say the most guaranteed sells you can probably get in your life are probably between here and here. Like, if this flips, there is no...
pips.
It's a pretty much guaranteed 400 pips.
That's a 400 pip full margin.
That is... I will sell 3 kidneys in my body to do that. But yeah, the structure on the lower time frame is quite nice. Like I wasn't expecting this, but yeah, this is tradable. At least it's tradable. It's better than it's just like pushing infinitely. Like this is quite nice. This.
Not having 100 pip 5-minute candles over and over again is.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. When you just had like a 1 minute candle which was like 60 pips, and you're like,
It's great if you're in the right position, but
yeah,
not if you're in the wrong one.
yeah. Thing is, I reckon so many people, like obviously a lot of people made money during that massive push, right? But I'm sure an equal amount of people lost money.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I remember that day, like Wix sent like he had like a story which was like, to which arbitrary level are you guys holding to? And I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that is exactly what you should think.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. Good question. Do you think the 4 hour will flip and fill the wick then drive up? So the 4 hour, I mean, what do you mean by flip? It's flipped already. You want it to flip down and then fill this wick, right? Is that what you're saying? I mean, if you're looking for sells, it's going to be a hard one. First of all, your 4 hours is going to close above most recent resistance here, right? Your daily, weekly, monthly is so heavily bullish. Like, I don't think you can get sells until you break these highs. And if it's like, I'm not going to lie, if it's just one of these really, really small break of the highs, like this, where it just breaks it by like 1 pip or something, and then it starts reversing, I'm not taking anything. Like I don't care whatever you say, I'm not taking that. Because any given point, right, you can come down, right, but you could also come down after doing this. And in that case, where is this stop? You can't use this because that's not a stop, right? Because if you've just broken this just by like a little bit, and you're understanding you didn't grab liquidity yet, then this could be liquidity grab. But if you want to account for the liquidity grab in your stop, where is your stop? There are no levels at 21 above 2150, 2165. There are no levels.
No, there's the 2234 level.
Oh, okay. Let's explore
which
that.
I'm basing from the last, like, several years ago when it broke highs. And then the monthly, like, push, like, it was like
is it on the monthly
3,000
chart?
pips or something stupid.
Ah, yes, arbitrary information over here. Lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what are you on about?
Oh, yeah, look at this.
It's somewhere around in there.
Oh, it's right here. Oh, this is the candle you're talking about, right? 22, 30, 32, this area.
It's not an actual level. It's just copying how far it pushed.
Is that like an actual thing you're talking about?
Like, I don't
There's
know
no
when
way.
it was.
Oh, at least it's not an Oando, so...
It was, I think,
Or maybe it was during one of those times where you didn't have like wicks on candles.
It's not actually at that price point. It was a breakout of a similar situation.
Right.
Lower price, and I just measured how far it drove on the next monthly.
Maybe
And
one of the cavemen here just like decided to trade gold at 2K and you just, and then that's because there was just only like one order, right? One order per year, so he just spiked gold.
They both called it.
What an absolute dumbass to go and just say like, yeah, I'd like to buy this at 100 times the price, please. Yeah, all of this data. Look at this. Imagine buying gold at 1833, man. And then holding through all, holding through how many years? Nearly 200 years now.
It's not what I need.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think it's on Noanda, so it's difficult to say. I think if you're just basing it on Noanda, it's gonna be, there are no actual levels. But yeah, if it creates levels and then starts coming down, Strand, then yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Like, if it breaks the highs, like a decent break of the highs, right? Like, I'm not talking about that weird 1 or 2 pip break, right? If it breaks the highs and then starts flipping bearish, right? Like after something like this, maybe that's like a news thing or whatever, right? And then it starts pushing down, then yeah, we can look for some positions to come down. But like probably what I was saying here, right? A break of like this wick here, these lows here, right? And then you can probably look to take some sells, capture 10 pips in terms of like a break even, and then some. I wouldn't be holding for too many runners, I'm not gonna lie, because what is it like? I don't think you're gonna come down that aggressively. Like, you may get a weekly bottom wick, right? Top wick, but again, where is that level? There's no levels you can really define on your high time frame. So yeah. I definitely wouldn't be keeping sells as like the first option for you. Like, buys are very, very strong at the moment, so I would definitely be looking more for buys. Sells only if they really happen, right? Only if you've rejected the top quite a lot and quite strongly, and then get like breakouts in the opposite direction, and so on. Hopefully that helps. Do the gentlemen have questions?
I'm like 10 minutes away from my crib, so I'm just trying to get to my left.
Drive safe.
For just like in general, it's kind of hard to, because I'm not being specific, but like when we.
What was that? Sorry, I accidentally plugged my headphone in.
If you're in a trade and it's making a higher high, like you just go break even, right? Just like automatically break even.
Right? No. Like, it depends where. That's why your entry is very important, right? Like, for example, if you get an entry off the break of these highs, right? I would say it's going to be very difficult, because where is your break even, right? But if you're able to take a trade within this area and then have this level as your break even and then hold, right? Or use this as your break even and then hold, then yes. So ideally you take a trade in like kind of this area here, I would say, for buys. Anything above, it's difficult to take a buy unless you really have a lot of confirmation, like it coming down all the way to these areas and then start flipping bullish and whatever, right? Then yeah, cool, we can look to take that. And what you'd look for potentially is like, you know, like potentially after you, let's actually draw some candles. But let's say you do this, right? You've come down all the way to this area. Let's just draw really simply, right? This is, it probably won't happen in like on the 15 candles or whatever, but let's say you close like this, and you have like a really steep candle like this. Actually, separate that to 2 candles. Let's do like closure respecting with a very steep candle, and then a breakout above. Let's say this is what you have, right? With a bottom wick as well, right? So in this case, right, let's say you didn't get an entry here. Let's say because there was like, you know, no top wick or whatever, right? Let's say that happened, and then you're looking for price to, you know, then re-break this high after potentially this happening, and then you get a breakout above here, right? Let's say this happens. In this case, yeah, cool. I'll be looking for a buy for sure, and then I'll probably look for the flip on this candle if it does, right? Ideally, what you want to be doing for break even is waiting for, obviously, because you've entered around here, right? Let's say you've entered here. What you're looking for is a push away from where price is, because you understand you're creating a higher high, an all-time higher high for gold. So there's a high chance you're gonna get one of those like small pushes, right? So after you've kind of moved enough, right, to the point where like, okay, cool, you know, like there's a lower chance that price is gonna do that, especially because it also has a bottom wick, right? So let's say you have say price is like got this like a bottom wick, and then your candle is like kind of hovering like this, and then it suddenly just pushes, right? Then cool, at this point you can probably look to go break even after it's done that push. But if it's like hovering here for a while and then, you know, it just kind of starts doing this and like whatever, and like there's not much you can do, right? And then once you get that push, it's like, okay, cool, and then you'll probably get another push, and then you'll end up closing something like this, right? And then your next candle, since you've gone break even, if it does come down for a bottom wick, then you just see if it taps you out. But if it doesn't, then yeah, cool, you've got potential runners. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I just like I feel like I've been more aggressive because I feel like I'm scared to. I basically don't want to catch the top, I guess. Like I don't want to get stuck in a mean buy, but I don't know if it's been actually affecting my trading or not.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because I just try to be as logical as possible. I think I do that a lot. Like just as we're making a higher high, you can kind of see it.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the other times where we've made a higher high. Yeah, let's just look at the other times we made a higher high, right? Based off of all-time highs. Like, look at this 15, or let's go down to the 5 or whatever, right? But this clean push, I mean, let's go to the 1. How clean was the push? In this case, this was really clean, right? Look at this. This is really clean. You just push up, right? In this case, where does the green line end? Yeah, in this case, right? This line here. So here you had a push up, right? This is what I mean, right? If it's gonna push up, right, you probably got like a bit of a boom, right? And then you came back down. You would have maybe got a break even or whatever if you moved, but this was what, 12, 13. But you know, you could also wait for the candle to close, come down, right? And then as you're flipping again or re-breaking the highs, creating that next higher high, then you could also look to go break even, I would say. Depends on how big the push is. If the push is quite big, right, and like you're understanding that it's there's a lot of volume and you've got clear direction after a fake out or something, then yeah, cool, you can probably look to do it slightly more aggressively. But in the case like this, right, you haven't really done much. This is the 1 hour, 1 minute, but like imagine this was like the 5, 15 or whatever, not too much liquidity being grabbed, and then you get a breakout, then yeah, like you're probably expecting this to have a bottom wick. Could be steep, could be relatively small, but after it flips and then re-breaks its own high chance it's going to continue driving. So at that point, you can probably look to go break even. Don said that better chances for driving up is filling the wick first down and then driving up. I just need another thought from you. What are your thoughts on this big bull run on gold? We don't have major news. I think it's driving. I mean, it's just gold being at all-time highs. Everybody's like, oh wow, gold is at all-time. It's the same with like Bitcoin and everything. It's like, oh wow, it's driving. So people are just trying to jump on the wave, right? I mean, the chance of you filling the wick isn't. I would say it's irrelevant because you're not going to be taking any sells to come down. I don't think, unless you really break this high. If you do and then you come down, yeah, maybe, right? But yeah, like I can't take anything. I would say as it is currently, I can't take this wick fill. Even if it's 100 pips, I don't think I won't see any positions or any possible future of me taking any of those sells. Just because like the structure here is, you've printed up, right? And you've got some closures above. Nothing's showing that you want to close back below. Until you get those closures back below, maybe like 2158. So like this, below this level, right? Right, and then you get like a top wick, really nice top wick. Right, even if it's up to here, right, then I probably can't take this. Any given point, this could be liquidity to continue to go back up, and then probably another top wick really, and then after you get this closure below certain ranges like this, then yeah, maybe I can start taking this to come down, and this maybe would be my first position. But this entire range, I don't know, it's a little bit funky unless you get some nice top wicks. I mean, like maybe here. That's 12. This it's not even that big of a range. That's the issue. If you get like an actual closure below here, 2153, you have range to fill, right? Down to at least here, 30, right? 30 pips. But I'll need nice top wicks, like this extent. So that's what I mean, right? I need top wicks like this, because this was the top wick we needed to push this down, right? So if you want to come down, just breaking some of those, I'm gonna need to see some of this. Break the highs, come down. And at this point, right, this was a break of this high. So now, if we want to get this, I'm probably looking for a break of this high, right, to confirm that it's not going to continue. Yeah, we will see. We will see.
Have you guys had any trades, or Tom, Johnny, where you levels?
Well, I took I think I was in Don's trade today, and then
I took that like slightly deeper, but I had my stop at the
here.
Yeah,
here?
around there.
Yeah, one of these.
So it hit my stop. I analysed it based on the 4.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm looking at Bitcoin. Fuck. All the other times it's come down, it's not broken the wick of 8 hours previous. Since we've broken above the main range.
Yeah, so
I just put my stop there, going.
So yeah, put about here.
It's done this 4 times. If it breaks below that wick, it's probably we've hit the high and we're gonna reject.
I mean, that was you saved yourself 35 pips of drawdown. So I mean, it's not a bad decision. I think it's your plan. It's a W. Because there's no way of predicting this. I would say also, right? Because you got a full closure on the 4 hour below. Or was it the 4 hour that you could close below? No, the 1 hour closure below. No top wick, right? But closure below, like still, right? You know, you get a high chance you're gonna drive. 30 also, you know, you were like.
Yeah, I mean, I got tapped out on the first hourly, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens sometimes.
Yeah, it's all good. The thing is, you also like with these candles, I feel because you also it says it's like respecting, right? But it shows here you're kind of respecting salary to go up, but it really does need to flip. If it doesn't flip and break this high, it's a little bit difficult.
I was very bullish, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think
because it was like, wow, this is a 4 hour coming down, no top wick, with a salary on the 30.
Yeah.
And it's broken out into all-time highs.
Yeah. Where did you get your position? Where on your 4 hour wick?
It was down at like 37.5 or something, 37. I took it after it came down. The first 5 came
37.
Down. Oh wait, no, 57. Sorry.
57. Okay, yeah, okay, around here.
It was on the 5. I took it on. I'm pretty sure.
Like this, one of these. Like some of this levels here.
Yeah, I took it down in that area because we were it was around where some of the lows were.
Yeah, I mean everything pointed to price continuing bullish, right? Like your previous hourly closure was also, you know, like a bullish candle
actually,
above.
No, it was on the 1. The 1 just dropped, and then closed. It didn't. I felt like it didn't have enough of a bottom wick for it, basically.
Your 1 minute, this one.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And I expected it to come up
Yeah.
and just like flip almost immediately. So.
Yeah, everything was so bullish. 30 closure above, hourly closure above, 15 closure above. And respecting on this candle, respecting on a second candle here. You could have got an onion play to go up if this flip to fill. But yeah. 5 or
And
so.
we hadn't retested the high, like we hadn't rebroken the high or anything. So I was like, to come down, I was like, we probably need to get a true test of that high at some point.
Yeah. I'm just looking at like this rejection here. Is this enough for us to potentially look at price? Because you got a similar thing here, right? You got some rejections down here which pushed price continuously down.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's just price showing it's failing to continue breaking up. So you looking for liquidity, but like, you know, if even if you took this and then like the rebreak at this high, you'd be fucked as well, right? But yeah.
I mean, if I'd used the daily stop, it wouldn't have stopped out. So, you know.
How big was the daily stop though? Like,
Not massive.
I think we used the daily stop.
Yeah, exactly.
57.
I just used a small stop based on what I analysed on the
It came down. Oh,
on the other
it
times.
didn't come down to make it steeper. Okay. Yeah, potentially daily stops. Yeah, but all of this is just all-time high experience. Like, I have a total of 3 days, I think, or like 2 days of all-time high.
Exactly.
So
I just based it off of my other 2 days of experience.
exactly. Yeah, like there's nothing we could do besides try it out. See how well our kind of analysis plays out on days like these.
But yeah, I'm now expecting it to push.
Yeah. I think you'll need some liquidity before the push, but it should push. I mean, the worst thing is like I know there's also a high chance that you're just gonna push without liquidity at this point. Like you're gonna do a push first, which we might not catch, and then grab liquidity, and then you'll probably like similar to this. This is what I'm kind of expecting like here, right? So we did all of this here, right? What may happen, right, is this push here. And this is just going to push. There's nothing we can do. It's going to come up to the top of the range. And then we're going to be like, okay, I can't take this because there's no liquidity go up, right? But as it's coming back down and then closing respecting, potentially we can look to take the second position here. So if it does push, again, no FOMO for it because expecting it to come back down to grab liquidity at some point, and then we'll look to take the second part. But yeah, I'm just thinking that this could definitely happen as well as a scenario here, where it just starts pumping.
I mean, I'm curious how NFP will play.
Is NFP tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's
I
tomorrow.
don't think you're wrong. I
Yeah,
think Don mentioned it today, maybe.
Yeah, tomorrow 1:30.
Tomorrow.
Plus unemployment rate.
Yeah. Okay. So like NFP.
So
Okay.
mostly just curious what will happen with that, given we're at all-time highs.
Yeah, we'll see. Interesting though. Yeah, that's basically the analysis. Any other questions from the YouTube chat? Or Tom, did you want to go through a trade?
No. Well, my first one was pretty similar to the one Johnny took as well,
Yeah.
and on stream. And then I took another one. Now I'm not sure if this is just because like I don't know. I took the loss and like maybe I was trying to win back from the losses. I'm not too sure, but it seemed valid on the 5. Like I think it was at around let me find the time. At like 3:10 something like that. So like it basically came down, broke all those lows, and I think it was like a
Here, one of
breakout
these.
celery, break of the highs.
Like this
Yeah,
one here.
that
You
one.
took it
Yeah,
here probably.
break of the highs there.
Yeah. I would say with these, yeah, I've definitely done this before, and I think the only takeaway that I had with these is you've come down to create this low, right? You've essentially reversed this entire move, right? What you're expecting is cool, yeah, like you're probably gonna continue going up, but you still have to think about the distance that price has already moved, right? You've moved from here in terms of bullishness, right? You've moved from here all the way up to this point, which is another 80 pips. So for you to continue pushing, right? And you're understanding that on the higher time frame, it's probably just going to look like one candle to continue going up. But on your smaller time frame, you're going to see more. You're going to potentially see some more liquidity being grabbed and just some structure overall. So, like expecting a little bit of drawdown. I don't know to what extent, right? But your stops are going to be here anyways.
Yeah.
So I think it's a perfectly valid trade. It's just yeah, where do you expect liquidity? And I think in this case, it came down a little bit and then went back up to your break even and did this. But this was unexpected, I think. This was unexpected. I really expected this to
It was
push.
break even, so I wasn't too worried. And I just called it a day after that, taking it off the break even. I was like, yeah, that's me done.
Yeah, I took a position here. Essentially, because it then broke all the lows again. This was a 30-minute closure here, expecting a top wick on the 30.
And you still got fucked.
And then it just, yeah. I mean, I closed out at like +5, I think, at the end. I closed off like here. At like, this was 10 pips, but I closed half, so yeah. That's...
Yeah.
Because if this didn't drive me immediately, all right, I'm understanding that I'm just going to be relatively aggressive with the break even. So once it broke this, I was like, yeah, break even. Or once it re-broke this high, really, I think I just went break even. But yeah, like still within these ranges, you can still get a lot of structure going up and down.
If you go to can you go to the 15?
I can.
And then go to like the 5th.
The 5th of May. Oh, of March.
Hey.
Yeah.
Really? And then go to the 5th on the 15th, the 0545 candle.
Jesus. 05. Like here?
Yeah, 0545. Up.
This one here. This bullish one here.
Yeah, so I had a buy there, and then my stops were at 2107.
You
Why?
didn't break the
Because I
high.
would just assume, like, I was like, yeah, this is, it's either going to be, like, I'm going to hit stops, or this is going to, like, break into all-time highs, and sure enough, that's what it did.
Ah, I see your logic.
But then I took a pineapple once we had, like, this double fake out, or, like, a stacked entry, like, here. And then I, like, moved stocks to break even on, like, both positions, like, once we started breaking. And then I had a runner to, like, 2133, so I managed that position, I feel like, really good.
2133 is, like, up to here.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was to NY.
Yeah,
next
wow,
morning.
okay, yeah, nice.
Sheesh. Okay.
Yeah. I think the entry is interesting. I think this entry here, after, like, the pineapple made sense in terms of this entry, but this entry also doesn't make sense, right? If it's a standalone entry. This entry here, right? Like, for example, if
You just took.
you take this
You
here,
didn't even take the break of the high.
this would have been pretty valid, I think, if you took that. Like, in terms of our strategy, obviously this is probably some like A class setup for some other strategies as well, right? So don't get me wrong, it's a good position for sure, because you definitely caught pips, right?
You can call that a double bottom fake out there.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, but yeah, for us, or for me, I would probably look, well, this is a pretty nice breakout above after it failed to do this, right? So I probably would have had one potentially off the rip here. Maybe, do I want a bottom wick? You have no bottom wick here. It's your 15 candle, right? Like, what's it doing? I mean, this is
Do you
pretty...
think that stop at 2107 was good?
Yeah, it's a good stop. It's a good stop. Below here is fine.
Yeah.
Because you can't use this. that's what I mean. You can't use that. So that's your only stop.
And
Because what, like you took a buy here. This already is 120. Like you can't use a 200 pip stop, and then like you also understand that this to here is a
It's all
clean
queen
drop.
traffic anyway.
Clean drop. So you don't wanna be there. Yeah.
And then if you go to the fifth again, I guess. Yeah, go to
We're still here.
candle. Let me see. This one. Yeah, if you go to the 15 on the, and then go to the 15 on the 5th. So a little bit in New York. It was Don's opposite trade. Like it was the opposite trade of Don. It didn't have no bottom wick. It was this candle, so it was also just like I was like, oh, it's just gonna keep on breaking out. But I had my stops just under the 1 hour low since I knew it didn't have a bottom wick. So it's like if it comes down, it might just keep on driving since there was no bottom wick. So
Right.
I got, and then that was it for like that day. I was just like, yeah, I'm done for the day because I had that other trade, and then I was just like,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think.
And that was a news candle too, so I was like, oh yeah, like that must have been like these candles here, like that probably is enough liquidity, but it wasn't, I guess.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, just the way you're managing all-time highs is also not bad. I would say. There's no, I don't know the right way to do it. I have no experience. So, but I think the way you're approaching it and the way you're talking about it means you've got a plan, and you're executing. So that's a win. Yeah. Ahmed, can you explain wick entry, please? I was trying multiple times. I don't know how to be confident to take it. I would say like for example, right? Let's try to find an example here. This was, I don't think you could have taken a wick entry down at these areas, but our wick entry today I think made a lot of sense. So, for example, right, in this case, you had some range here, right? This is range, didn't really go anywhere, right? And then you got a breakout. Cool, you got a breakout. Ideally, what I would say is price do something like this, right? Where you had a closure top wick, maybe not that high, but like a nice bottom wick. That would have been ideal. If we had something like this, right, instead of that candle, imagine this was instead of this, right? This candle and then next candle coming down first, taking a wick entry, right? Just basically when the candle is coming down and there is no top wick, you're expecting it to flip up. So at the end of it, it'll look like wick entry, right? So that would be a pretty solid wick entry, I would say, right? Something like around here. So this would be me having enough confidence to do that. Why? Because number one, you have liquidity, right? You've broken some of these lows down here. Then you closed above the range, right? So that's number two, closure above the range. So some visual way of representing that you want to continue pushing up. And three, you have no top wick for the next candle. If it's a higher time frame candle like the hourly or whatever, you're expecting it to have a top wick, right? Especially if you closed above, especially if you have bullish structure, especially if you've had like a liquidity grab beforehand. So in that case, taking a wick entry, I have more confidence in this candle flipping. So what I can do is I can go break even once this candle flips, right? And then potentially take profits at that area, and then leave some to run. That's what I would say in terms of that.
Yeah, that's if it flips before it takes you out.
Yeah.
So, like I did today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's what I mean. Like this.
It's the steepest it's driven down. It's a bearish candle since we broke out.
Yeah, I think the issue was like this candle here. It just didn't have a steep enough bottom wick. Like liquidity wise, I guess we needed liquidity, right? Who would have known? Like on days when it's just so bullish like this, you need liquidity still. And also with such a top, like a steep top wick rejection, right? Maybe we should have waited to see how it kind of forms a little bit more first, before continue going up. But yeah, that's the only thing I can really analyze from that. And potentially learn for next time, but yeah.
And then so you go to the 6.
Give me a sec.
This chart, I'm looking at it right now. I'm pretty sure I just seen it like as a breakout, but like I don't know. Again, I don't like. I guess in the moment, like they make sense to me, but I guess while I'm looking at it right now, it's like kind of iffy. But it was what kind was that?
Which time frame do you want me on?
The 15 is fine. Give me, and then it was the 7:07:30. So that, and then I had my first position there, and then we came down, and then go to the 30. Once we respected here, I took another entry, like once the next candle opened up, and then I closed. That was also, and then I had that position played out good, but yeah, my stops were my stops there. I believe I had them on 2108 again.
20.
So like 200 pip stops.
I mean, you're taking pineapple as well. I think that's one thing we can definitely agree on. Your pineapple strategy is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're looking for this.
I've seen somebody else kind of explain it as like they kind of consider it as liquidity too, but it's because like we're breaking lows. Like if you drop down to the 5, you break the lows and then you kind of form structure.
I would say like on the higher time frame, really, like just the fact that you've printed this structure here, you're going up, but you're also respecting this means that there's a high chance you're going to come back up to retest this high, right? And if you are, right, the chance of you taking a pineapple here and then being able to close out in the middle is also not a bad idea, essentially. But at the same time, you can also say that like all of these candles really have no top wicks. You could also say there's not much liquidity going up, so that was probably the only other thing. But like in terms of like an all-time high pineapple taking strategy, it's not bad, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just I don't even know if this is the right answer, but like if this candle had a bottom wick and it was pushing down first and then flipped, maybe that would have been even better. But the chance of that happening
I've seen that candle though before, like where it's like it closes respecting, and then the next one doesn't have a bottom wick, and then it just closes like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean we've all seen that. It just starts driving for no fucking reason as well. Like, but yeah.
I think also like just managing them like more aggressively. I think like you can visually tell, and I think it's something that comes with experience. Like when price does make a higher high, you're like, oh yeah, stops break even, and it's like almost intuition, but at the same time, like I don't think it's like logically, but
yeah, it's like when it breaks it by like 1 pip and it doesn't drive, you're like, okay, I'm still gonna wait for it to actually break, like, and I create that new higher high instead of just be like, okay, yep, that's broken. 1 pip is 1 pip, and then just moving it, right? Like, just being able to understand like what does the break of the highs actually mean in terms of market structure instead of a very detailed like specific break of the highs detailed explanation, right? So
oh yeah, and then dang bro, I've had a couple of trades this week, bro. I think it's been a good week though. I'm ready to call it. Like
yeah.
I think also too I've noticed like for sure, I feel like, because I feel like I've had good weeks like this, but like I've never been able to like keep them because I wasn't like following my plan or like a strategy. It was more just like gambling, I guess.
Right.
I think it also helps that like I can now get off the charts. Like I know when to be like, oh yeah, like I'm done for the day.
Yeah. I think that is good. Oh, we opened. We're coming down first. That is quite nice. How much is that? That is 10 pips. But yeah, like hourly, right? Hourly no top wick, doing something like that. Like any given point, this can start.
Daily wick entry.
Daily wick entry. How far is this gonna come down? I've got no clue. Thing is, occasionally we like do also see like these candles do something like this. Like for example, and you've pushed up, right? You have this, something like I don't know, like this or something. Push up, no bottom wick, something like that. Actually, sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's slightly higher as well, so it's pushing up like this. And like this. Like on the higher time frames, smaller time frames, like you see this quite a lot as well. And a lot of the times, like when this doesn't have a top wick or when it has like a very small top wick, the chance of this next candle flipping, right, it is just, it's there, but it may be slightly smaller because, you know, this potentially shows that you don't have, right, you don't have that much momentum left to continue pushing up, right? If this was liquidity for you to continue going up, this kind of would have just started driving, right? In this case, you potentially, this could maybe be viewed as somewhat of a rejection, right? Because you've come down, you grabbed all this liquidity, but you didn't go anywhere. Maybe that's due to like kind of later times in the day and you're kind of dying down in terms of volume, but at the same time, right, like this closure above is not what you're expecting if you're, you know, basing it off of this liquidity down here. So proportionally, it should be a lot steeper. If it was like, you know, New York or whatever, it would have been like something like this potentially. And in that case, you're thinking, okay, the chance of this candle coming down is not zero. So we'll see if this happens on the 4 hour or whatever, but you know, that is also definitely a possibility. But yeah, like this here. Who knows where it's going to go. 5 closed, 5 is now pushing up. That's what I mean, like you're just trickling. So wait for liquidity somewhere. I have no idea where. But yeah. Cool. Any last questions? Probably gonna cut it around here. It's been a good Thursday.
And then if you just
Go to the what?
Yeah, this was again. Go to the 15 again. And then go
Jacob's
to the
busy.
04 candle.
04.
Yeah, it was a weird time. We just started breaking all-time highs, and I was watching the charts. I was like, brother.
Get me in.
And
Coach,
21,
submit. Yeah.
20, like once we started breaking that high, yeah, like 20. My entry was 2153.2, and then I just like it was the same thing what we've been talking about. Once we made that higher high, I just was like stops to break even.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like it'll just push. Like if it does push, like there's nothing we can do about it. It's just gonna push. You'll see signs like, oh yeah, cool, breakout, and then you know maybe some rejection. Then the next breakout above that, yeah, that could be a sign for you to just kind of put like a buy stop or whatever, right? But you know, like this is what I mean, right? This technically is also a break of the high, but for what? 3 pips, 2 pips? It's not a break of the high. So I'm not gonna move my stops and then have it hit the 2 pip break even, right? Like I'm gonna wait at least a little bit until it actually breaks the highs. Yeah.
Oh man.
In terms of like just actually trading, like yeah, I think like I feel like I've had a good trading week, and like I feel like psychologically I feel good. So I feel like I just wanna go into next week knowing like if I just do the same thing, like there's nothing different, like nothing should change.
Yeah, I think next week is likely going to be a similar kind of situation because we're still at all-time highs, but I think the overall bullish direction, there could be a chance it's going to start slowing down because how are you going to continue having daily bullish candles just continuously going up? Right? At some point, you're going to need to stop and range, right? And it's just like, where will it start ranging, right? Like we understand there's some sort of previous level at 2150, which you've now broken above. So are you going to range just above? Are you going to range just below? Where is that? So yeah, like next week we'll kind of, it'll be interesting, I think, in terms of where we're kind of going to settle down a little bit more. and then we'll try to find some range. We'll trade within the range, and it'll be a little bit different in terms of how we're trading that as well. So yeah, it should be good. Right, I'm probably gonna cut.
Alright.
Yeah, thanks for joining up. Good Thursday. We'll speak on Sunday, likely. I have a match on Sunday. Yeah, I think I should be able to make Sunday. And obviously we'll have the member stuff on Monday as well. So yeah, cool. I'll speak to you guys, the Zoom boys, soon. Yeah.
Alright.
Have a good weekend,
Yeah.
boys.
Cheers, guys. See you soon.
Yeah, see you.
Cheers.
See you guys. See you, Johnny. See you, Tom. Yeah, YouTube boys. Yeah, it's been a wrap for the week. Thanks for joining for the first stream of this week on a Thursday. Apologies, my computer did break down, so I'll try to make up for with more streams next week, right? But yeah, hopefully, you kind of saw maybe a slightly different angle, slightly different take on how I analyze all-time highs. Basically, still through the DVS strategy, right? But obviously, there will be some nuances which reside just in my analysis and kind of my thought processes. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned something or kind of took something from this. If it was the explanation about liquidity, so be it, right? But yeah, thanks for joining up, and won't speak to you guys before Sunday, so have a good weekend, right? No FOMO during the weekend, just relax, right? And then we'll be here to watch the market fly potentially in either direction on Sunday. So yeah, take it easy for this weekend, and I'll speak to you all on Sunday. Peace.